I've been stood here staring at the parts and pieces and the things that I need to be connecting and doing and looking at what I've done today, and must just be tired because I'm faded out here. I can't decide what to do next. I've got the tanks so that they're almost in alignment, and I found a discrepancy. This is a 5-inch pipe nipple, and I put a 4-inch on that side, so I've got to fix that down there. When that's rectified, it should be as close as this, and I should be able to attach the two tanks together, temporarily at best. But that I have to do that because that gives me where I take off this connection and go that way as the boiler returns. So I need to know that the tanks are together and the right distance apart, and then I can position the two of them together side to side to make the final distance. It's roughly 44 inches that way to the return T that I need to connect to. I've got the boiler unions. I just need the 44 inches roughly of pipe. Actually, it's 42 inches. So I think I can get by if I can find another 18-inch piece and a 24-inch piece. Then I can finish that return line tomorrow. So I've got a list of parts and pieces that I got to get to push on. Now, I was originally, so I made some late progress. I put these valves on the two water heaters, and I stubbed up just to see where this was going, put the pumps in where they need, and came up roughly where we need to tie into the outgoing, the hot water out. So that's something I did last night. I was going to continue that today, but I really need to know where the height of this piece is, and I also, the unions that go here to be able to connect, because these are going to be rigid to the 2.5 inches, and I have to be able to connect this. I also need another valve in here. I forgot about that. I need a second valve somewhere in this system to shut off the hot water coming down to here. It's one thing to close this off to keep the water in the tank if I have to take something apart. But in reality, I need to do something different. So maybe I need to shorten up this piece, put a close space nipple, move the pump closer, and then be able to put a valve on the other side of the pump, because I need to be able to change out the pump to close the water off if I need to change out the pump. So that's something I totally spaced on. So I got to fix that. See, it's good to meet with you here in the boiler room. I've got this roughly allocated. This is the right height here, I believe, coming up. I'm going to put a 5-inch nipple here instead of a 4-inch to throw this over a little bit further, because right now the edge of this pipe is exactly where it needs to be to match up down below. But by the time I tighten all those pipes together, I will lose that exactness. So I want to be sure to bump it out 1 inch to make up for the distance that I'm going to tighten everything. And that puts this outlet pipe basically right over this return line that I've got located. So I took time doing that. It took a while to move these tanks, so I didn't make as much progress as I wanted. But then I've got the elbow on coming around here. I've teed in and figured out my loop to the pressure relief tank. I've got my valve in here coming into, I got to redo that. Dang it, that's got to be tightened. Shoot. Oh, I didn't tighten that. Oh, damn it. All right, so I got to tighten that because this valve is upside down. I've got my tempering valve in here. I've got my purge and recharge valve. So basically when this handle is thrown, this bottom port is the 2 ports here are isolated. So I can pump water in here and purge air out of here. So that's important. And that also acts as a shutoff for this line. And I can disconnect it down there at the coupling. Then I've come out, I've got my drain and capture, sediment capture. And this is all close to the floor, which is a slight problem. Then I've got my first union for return water out of this tank, which I'm gonna have to S over. And then I'm gonna come through here with a 12-inch pipe and come in and be able to have a T here going into here. Now the second tank. Now originally I was gonna put the valves here, but I can't because the nut of the handle interferes with this outflow, or actually the inflow of the cold water coming into the heater. So I'm gonna have to go with a union first like that over there. So those unions are back ordered. Find them anywhere else, so I gotta wait. They're back ordered, they're in, but I have to wait for them to be delivered. Hopefully that's early this week, because that affects up here and down there. So I've got some parts and pieces to get. I need to get some bracing so that I can hold this stuff up where it needs to be to the ceiling. I've got these little pipe clamp deals which go over things and then attach by a 3/8 rod to these things that I can screw on the floor and the ceiling. So I'm feeling good about how much progress I mean, I wish I'd made more, but I can see now I need to change how this is up here because I need a second valve on the other side of the pump. Geez, I need to get more distance here. So maybe I lower the pump so it's closer to this valve and put another valve right above it. That would make sense. I'm pretty sure I have 2 more 1.25 inch valves. I gotta go look. Okay, I actually set those valves over here on top of the boiler, so I knew that I needed them. I just forgot the application. Now, I opted in all of these cases on either side of the pumps to go with full port ball valves like these, threaded. And an individual flange and a pipe nipple to connect the flange to the valve. Now they make a valved flange for these pumps, but I priced them out, and the combination of the valve, the flange, and the pipe nipple was about $30, and the flanged valves were $70. So I've saved $40 times 4 pumps. So yeah, so $40, $80 times 2 is 160, 320. I saved, in excess of $300. Now I have to make up with that with labor and time and possibility of fittings leaking, but still $40 a valve, $320, whatever, was kind of critical to save for this project, seeing that I am still buying parts and pieces. I still have some things, all these little fittings that I have left to get, pipe nipples and threaded pipe, so to make this complete. But I'm getting closer. I am getting closer. I could do some more today, but I think I need to stop. I think that I'm pushing myself. I might make a mistake, seeing that I already missed the valve thing. I may mock up what I need. I also, this was a roll of 1,400 feet of pipe tape, and I'm almost done with it. I've already used, 1,429 inches of pipe tape. These regular rolls are 248 inches. So I've already used up almost a full roll of this, and I've used up 2 rolls of this. So I'm gonna have to get more pipe tape. My can of dope is almost gone. I should have just gotten the bigger can, or I guess I just have to get another can of that, because that's, I'm gonna run out of that. So I'm gonna have to come up with some pipe dope. Yeah, so slow progress. It's Sunday afternoon. I'm gonna break off and start dinner, make a stew or something for dinner. I still have afternoon and evening chores to do. Tomorrow I can go pick up pieces and just see if I can make some more progress. I'm gonna end up having, I think I'm gonna have to have some pipe cut and threaded for me by somebody. I still have to find a plumber to come and solder on these fittings, and then I can match with a valve. Yeah, so progress slow. It is bitter cold outside. It is barely, it didn't even get up to 20 in here now. Even I've got the heater to keep, got this little space heater here to keep my hands warm, but yeah, it really didn't, the temperature didn't raise up in here at all much because it's so cold out. I'm kind of wondering, I don't know if leaving the end and the actual refrigeration unit in here was a mistake. I can always take it out. I just have to undo a couple things that I clamped onto that wall, pull the thing out of there and insulate and plate it over. But in terms of expediency, I just needed to leave it in so I could get this system going. I don't know if that's allowing a lot more cold air in here or not, but once this thing is going and the residual heat loss from it should keep this room nice and toasty. If it doesn't, then I'll have to put in a radiator circuit or something here. I still have to factor in my safety circuit. So I've got to do a little bit of reading up on that this afternoon too, because I need a valve. I thought I had an actuator valve, but the one I have is closed on power off. I need one that opens when the power goes off. So I think it's called normally closed, because you put power to it, it stays open, the water circulates through it. Well, how does that work? No, you fill it up, it closes, it stays cold in that loop, and if the power goes off, the valve opens and dumps that cold water in to help cool the boiler down and keep it from overheating if it's heating while the power goes out. So I need to finish that. I need to find that right valve. They're not cheap. So I've kind of been pushing that off to the last minute. Okay, I'm going to get out of here because I'm rambling. Something you rarely see on any farm. Farmers doing laundry. These are the cow cloths that we use to wipe and clean the cows' teats with before milking. Just coming hot out of the dryer. It's like a spa around here for cows. Well, I'm back here making progress. I figured out where the height of this pipe turning out of the boiler needed to go to match the pipe coming off the tanks. This is the feed pipe to the tanks. This is the feed pipe, hot water out of boiler. Same pipe basically, just got to connect them. And I had to manage to then figure out, whoa, stepping off a ladder. I had to figure out where to tie into that blue cap pipe down below. Okay, so I've got my, coming out of here. Oh, let me show you here's where we got interrupted. This is my master diagram, and I'll put that up on the screen. And you can see I'm working towards getting the return tempering water. So that valve down there at the end of the blue cap pipe tempers the water. This is hot water, shoots down in there and then warms the cold return water up, coming out of the tanks and out of the system up above and any heating loops. So make sure that no cold water or water less than 140 degrees returns to the boiler, causing condensation, and that rots out the core of the boiler. So that tempering valve down there is critical, but I had to make sure that I hit that T just right. So I think I've got the Parson pieces right. I got my height set here. I've got my air scoop in. I'm gonna put a bladder tank under here like normal, just because I have one, and I've got the big tank down there, but a little extra capacity won't hurt, so I'll hang them if I've got a good one. I've got one sitting on a smaller air scoop outside. Put a tank here. This gets an air breather, and then as the water forces through here, air comes up in here, and it will eliminate any air trapped in the system. I've got a check valve so that the hot water can't return, or cold water can't return back when the system goes off. And then I've got my first of my stays to help hold all this so that there's not any too much pressure is put on the pipe. And I'm just about to put in a second stay here. It consists of this little piece here, and then I measured between there and the ceiling, cut a length of rod, 3/8 all thread, put the top piece on, which is basically just a nifty little threaded top piece. And I'm gonna plumb that up next, make sure it's plumb in all directions, and I'll screw it up to the top and tighten it here. I still have to thread this pipe in. And then I can get my elbow on and my T to go to the return. That is huge, just there what I've done. So that really is gonna make a difference, and it's starting to now define where I tie in here and how I tie in and where I tie in the hot water heaters. So I had to go to the parts store this morning. I went to the local feed store, and I am so thankful that RZR has all these pipes and bits and pieces in pretty good assortment. I mean, I couldn't have I probably could have put the order together with them. It would have cost a lot more. And they might not have been able to get some of the specialty fittings that I was able to order online, but I reserved buying all of the connecting bits of pipe from them, just to support them because they're a local business, but also because I know that they will have the supply, and I can go and I can, measure this up, get this connected, and then tomorrow, if I need more parts, I can go there and pick up the pieces. I also got the pieces to be able to connect, make the little S connection down there to the pipe there, to the water, to the pressure relief bladder. So it's clipping right along. It is slow work. I mean, each of these connections is tedious, big wrench, a lot of muscle to get these bigger joints connected, but I'm getting closer. I still have to figure out how to air pressure test the system. Basically seal off everything that isn't necessary and pressure, because I'm confident that my joints are good, but I'm not sure how good. I don't know what it takes to seal up 2 1/2 inch pipe from leaking. So I want to air test everything before I put water in here, because I think that will save us a lot of water and a lot of hassle. It will be a bear if I have to redo like any of these joints along here. I will have to take things apart from here and go backwards, which would suck. Yeah, I didn't. I am going to put a union in this length here to help break that apart. But some of this stuff is just going to be, have to take it, feet of pipe apart if there's a problem. So I hope that isn't the issue. All right, it's been a little while. It's taken me a long time to get this sorted out and get the elbow and the right length of pipe to go between the elbow, the down-turning T to match the pipe for the tempering valve, and then here's my first off T going to the water heaters. And as we can see, I need to come up about there. So I've got to add some more pipe length to my water heater stub. So I have to map that out. I can get within a little bit. Well, I'll know better tomorrow, because I'll permanently put in this nipple, the pump, and the stub and the valve. And when all that's cinched down on both these water heaters, then I'll know what this piece needs to be to elbow over to here. So I guess that's really my next, my next thing is to get the little S done there for the bladder, the pressure relief tank. So get that connected, and then I'll pretty much have to mount and affix, although I don't, maybe they'll come by the time I get there. I still awaiting the 4 back-ordered 1 1/4 unions, but I'll get that first water heater fixed in position. Basically, that T establishes where it needs to be. I think that's come this way, 1 inch. And then I'll get it mapped out to where it goes on the bottom and the top. mount that one, then work on piping the second one, and then I'll be closer to where I tee in here to these. I've also still have to replace the 4-inch with a 5-inch nipple down there, and I've got to figure out how that takes off. But I am getting so close on the primary plumbing. It's literally feet away. I'll know what length 1.25 inch pipe I need to go from that valve down there up to the T by the end of tomorrow, or the end of the next time I work on this. I'm assuming I'm going to have a few hours to work on it tomorrow. I'm not sure. But yeah, so made some good progress despite only having a short day. I am running out of pipe dope. I am running out of pipe tape. Gonna have to order those. I like the ones I got from the plumbing supply place online. So I have a few other parts and pieces that I might need. So I gotta get that orchestrated so I can get the free shipping, so I can get those coming. Because without the pipe dope and without the pipe tape, I'm shut down. And there's nothing near this quality locally. I might have to get some more of these connectors. I've used 2. I only bought 4 of each. And it looks like, well, I'll use the 1.25 inch, just I'll put 2 on either one of these. That leaves me 2. And I've used 2. I bought 4 of these, so I've used 2 of them. I got probably 1 here, another one at least, and I don't have any for the bottom. So yeah, I'll probably use another 2 on the top. And I had thought to put them in some way as floor supports to help hold the pipe off the floor to the right distance. So I have to consider that. But yeah, I'm waiting on those unions, and that's not going to be pretty if I don't get those soon. I do have other work I need to do. It's going to be warm this week. That's the other thing I have to be mindful of. The high was 20 today, 20 Fahrenheit, which is brutal. It's been cold in here all day. So I am hoping I just dropped that. I'm trying to move this step stool so I can get back in there. I dropped a bunch of stuff, but the level just fell on top of the pump. Not happy about that. Looks like it's okay. Oh gosh. Apart from the chaos I'm causing in here, what was I about to say? I do have a few other things. It's going to be warming up. Yeah, that's the whole point. It's supposed to get up to 50 later in the week, or into the 40s anyway, maybe as high as 50. We'll see. That's the long-term forecast. So I want to get the rest of the PEX line run outside and up. I want to get the fresh water line come down in here. I could do it on a freezing, bitter cold day. It would just be a lot less nerve-wracking if we're above freezing, because at 20 degrees, it takes about 45 minutes to an hour for a line that's not running hard to freeze. Just in my experience, at 8 degrees like it was this morning, it's very fast. The freezing happens immediately. And so I don't want that let water in out of the barn into this PEX, which is hanging out cold, empty, and have it freeze as it comes down in. So if I can do that on a day above freezing and get that PEX freshwater line stubbed in here, that'll be good. If I can get the barn lines run up while it's warm-ish out. It's going to be a sloppy mess with it melting, possibly rain that day too. But anyway, I got some outdoor work to do. I've got to put some plywood up in the barn to be able to remount the pump up there that belongs up there once I get the PEX lines run out of here up to the barn. So yeah, I'm close in here, but miles away elsewhere. I still haven't gotten anybody to solder these freshwater fittings on here. So that's got to happen. So anyway, let's kind of call it quits. So I am going to get out of here and worry about this another day. It is Tuesday, what, the 5th, 6th of January, and another 4 inches of snow overnight. And at least it's not 8 degrees this morning. It is 24, something like that. And I gotta plow this off because it's warming up through the day. It's gonna be in the 30s by night and raining. And we've got temperatures coming up into the 50s over the next week or so. So that's gonna give me a great opportunity to tackle some of the projects I need to for the boiler system in the milder temperatures, but it could be an icy, wet, sloppy mess otherwise. Good news is I don't have to preheat the skid steer as much this morning. So, come on. Bad news is the door is frozen. All right, let's get this warming up.
Shane Stansbury is a professor at the Duke University School of Law and former federal.
This is about 10 minutes to warm up while I get some water for the calves ready, and then I'll go feed the cows too. Set to plow in the driveway. Hello, handsome. What are you doing up there, sweetie? I am back down in the boiler shed, or whatever we're calling the freaking cold, refrigerated, insulated shipping container today. It's got to be 15 degrees colder in here than it is outside. It is warmed up. It's hovering at the freezing point. Out there, it's pouring rain. I fell twice coming down here because the snow is just slick and icy underfoot. I had to plow again this morning, which is why I'm only getting down here now afternoon. I did not get down here yesterday at all. Farm stuff kept me from getting any closer working on this. So I was hoping today would be a day I would go pick up any parts I'm missing, having installed everything that I have yesterday, but no. So it's gonna have to wait till Friday now, because today's Wednesday. Tomorrow, Thursday, Allison will be taking the car to go off on deliveries. So I will work here on other things, and I will pick up any missing parts and pieces on Friday. So yet another day of delay, although I should be able to. Tomorrow's gonna be much warmer. It's gonna be well above freezing. Upper 30s, maybe get as high as 40 tomorrow. So I might try and do some of the outside work because it's supposed to be sunny. I think we also have a day up in the mid 40s coming up. So I'm gonna plan for that, to use that weather and that warmth as best as possible, no matter what's going on down here. But yeah, so today I'm just gonna plug on and try and get the pressure relief tank connected. Maybe get these stubs coming out of the water heaters piped up a little bit. I think I may have found someone to do the soldering. I'm not sure yet. So yeah, I want to get as far on as I can today. I can always put that stub back on the coupling there. But it's cold in here, even with the little tiny, way too small space heater. These back a long time ago, these things really pumped out heat, but they don't anymore. And it is cold in here, so it'd be great to get this boiler going. I every once in a while, well, what if I were just to build a small fire inside, just to warm up the metal a little bit? But I don't dare. I don't want to ruin any electronics that are in the water jacket, any of the sensors or probes, until I can fill it up and do it right. Let's get on with this. All right, I hope that's good. It's connected, it's finalized. I hope it holds. We're gonna air test everything. So now that we've got that permanent connection, and so I'm starting to work my way out towards the storage tanks with final permanent connections. So the next step is to try and get these water heaters mounted. Well, actually the next step is probably to get this T line in here to that valve, because now I'm done beyond that. That could be in my way until I have to take everything apart because there's a leak. I'm fully aware that this may have to all be redone, but it'll be faster then. So yeah, I'm gonna figure out what I need to do that. I don't think I'll be able to do that today because I don't have that length of pipe. But I can definitely tackle the water heaters, which is my next thing. I'm making some modest progress. I've added a couple fittings to the floor down here. I've located where the stub for the first water heater goes, and that has set me up down below where the other water heater goes. I've also managed to stub out and get my two upper runs to the water heaters. I've got both pumps up to the valves. This is just mocked up here. I need a 9-inch nipple to go there, and then that there will be connected. I had to call and find out where the rest of my unions are. They're going to be shipped. They were supposed to have been shipped last week because they came in last week. They were supposed to be shipped ASAP, they said. They apologized, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't help now. So I've got to wait for those to arrive. I need 3 more of those. I've got the 1.5-inch unions, so I need the 3 other 1.25-inch unions. I need a couple other pipe nipples here to get this completed, and then I'll have to figure out down below where I probably S over like I did for the tank right there. So that's all going good, but I am running out of pipe dope, and I'm down to my last couple inches of pipe tape. So I've got to go up above where I've got internet connection and place those orders to get that stuff coming. I will have to do something else tomorrow because I won't have a vehicle. I can't, and today I can't, even if I wanted to, I couldn't have gone to the feed store to get the other black iron pipe I need. And they don't have the pipe dope and good pipe dope and good pipe tape. So I have to order those online. I won't have a car tomorrow. I can't go get anything tomorrow. So I'll have to wait till Friday. But that's okay. I've got that outside stuff to do if it's warm tomorrow. I also have a bunch of farm stuff I should probably do instead of spending all my time working on this. But that's also, I lost all day yesterday working here because of farm stuff. So the other thing I can do tomorrow if I'm held up with anything else, I can now that I know where these are, and I kind of have an idea where the PEX line that comes off of here going out goes to the front, then I can mount my 2 control panels for these pumps. So I can get that done, I can get that wiring done. Pretty confident I can place those. I'll have to do some other wiring and such. All the wiring is going to be temporary in here for now. I just need to get this system up and going. I can also, well, it requires pipe. Mounting the panels, those don't require pipe tape. I was going to say I could put this and the stuff up there, but I can't because that requires pipe tape. I do have some pipe dope, but I'm all out of pipe tape. Pretty sure I have no... Yeah, I got no pipe tape. This is the sort of circumstance with these big threads. I know I've made a mess with the pipe dope and tape, but I'm using the highest quality pipe tape I can get and pipe dope as a lubricant to make sure the threads go on and get tight. Fittings, black iron fittings have a tapered thread, so the tighter you get the fitting onto the pipe, the tighter and more seal they have, but because of all the imperfections and dings and stretching that can happen, that's why you use pipe tape and pipe dope. The pipe dope does work as a sealant, but it also is a lubricant. The pipe tape is also a sealant without the lubricant. Either are good in their own rights on their own, but the two together is a more standard practice, and I really don't want to have to redo any of these joints. So I'm trying to do the best job I can. Turn off my Bluetooth speaker. Just trying to do the best job I can so I don't have to backtrack. I hate backtracking, which is probably also why I haven't changed that nipple down there for the next length one. I also ran out of all thread, so I have to go to the lumber yard, the feed store for the all thread. I like the way these are mounting up to the ceiling. I've got one more 1.5 inches to put there, and then I'm going to attach that pipe, and then I can mount these and get another 1.25 inches all thread up there. And then see, that's getting me really, really close. I just realized I can see now. Yeah, that's getting to where this pipe here is almost able to match up to here, which is beautiful. I do have to, interesting. Well, I can't measure the distance between this T and this T until I get all of that sucked up and threaded and tied together. And then I'll know, I also have to do the same here, but I'll know at what height this has to be raised up to. And it looks pretty dang close. It's got to be, I wonder, I'm going to have to order that pipe nipple. I think I don't have anything. Oh, because it also gets a union up there. So really it's whatever this distance is, 16 inches. So whatever 16 inches, yeah, 16 roughly, 16.5 inches, whatever that is, yeah, right, it's going to be more like 18 by the time that's sucked over and this is sucked over. So I've got 18 inches to make up. I do have, let's see, I do have an 1.5 inches by 18. Oh, right, I have to put a union in there. I can't do it in one piece. So whatever I do, I need to make up out of, now why did I get a 12-inch? Well, I have a spare 12-inch piece. So a 12 and a 6 is 18. That could be useful. Or a 12 and a 4 and a 2 because of the union. Yeah, now we're talking. 12, a 4, and a 2. Yeah, what's this looking like? This gets me this allows me to, well, I have to have a union, right? I have to have something because I can't fit a piece of pipe in there and get it threaded to both ends. So it has to have some way of breaking the continuity, as it were. Let's just see what this does for me. Huh. I think a 1 foot, a 4-inch piece, and that union will work right up there to combine these two things. That'll be beautiful. So I've got that. So as soon as I get piped open pipe tape, I can finish. I do have to change that nipple to the right length one so that I can marry the two tanks up. And then once they are, I will have a final distance between, and I got to tighten up this. But now I know, because once I have all this mounted, I will know the height off the floor that this pipe needs to be correct to join up. So massively closer. I still have this work to do, putting these pipes together, but that, I'm running out. I had no idea. I mean, yeah, I probably used twice the amount of pipe dope I should have used, just because I slathered it on and there was no looking back. But I do need to get, I had no idea how much pipe dope or pipe tape to order. So yeah, I've got to get more of that, and then I can pretty much, a lot of this is just figuring out, just trying different combinations of pipe and stuff. So now that I have that, I can just fly, because I know the next set, the second the piping for the second water heater is the same as the first water heater. Once I got that figured out, then it's all golden. So, but I have to get I also need those unions. So I've got some things I can work on tomorrow if I'm not out doing the outdoor warm weather, sunny weather stuff. I hesitate to see what it is like out there. So, because there's been pouring rain, and we got 2 inches of snow this morning and 4 inches of snow yesterday, and it's been bitter cold, and it's going to be well below freezing tonight. So I could maybe not even be able to walk up the hill when I get out of here, because it could be too icy. But I also know that it did warm up today, because I've been working in the heat down here for days using this little space heater to help keep my little paws warm. And at no point, like the last 2 days when it's been kind of 8 and 12, I guess it was last day I was in here, it was like 20 degrees outside, but it didn't get, the thermometer here didn't get above 20. So that meant it was colder in here, and the heater wasn't making a dent in it. But today it went from 20 degrees to 48 degrees in here, so it's got to be a lot warmer outside. And the space heater was doing a nice little job, because it's actually really comfortable. I hate to stop working right now. I was going to try and push on for another hour, but I do need to check the cow's feed and have something to eat. But there's no internet right now down here, so I got to go up and place this order so I can get this stuff coming.